I came from a broken home. I was the oldest of 4 children, and when our family separated, I was kind of the adult of the kids, 14, 15 years old, and had to kind of grow up very fast. Peggy and I were high school sweethearts. We got married when we were 19, 20 years old. So we were very young, but it worked, and it was us. My wife and I were going through some marital problems, and we got invited to go to GCC with some friends, and that series that was going on, the first series was the Walk Across the Bridge. And at that series, it felt like Mark Beeson was talking directly to us. You know, God was in us right there. And that relationship, I think, started right then and there. And it's been a journey ever since. My entire life, it's always been, okay, let's figure this out. Let's work hard and get things done. Also, I like sports. It seems like, you know, in athletics, you kind of learn that mentality. You work through things, you try harder, you figure out that, hey, I can work harder than anybody. Nobody's going to outwork me. I mean, that's kind of how I took the approach to business. I was going to college to become a teacher, putting myself through school because I didn't have the support from home, trying to figure out how to make ends meet, and I had an opportunity to go to a trade school with a company that was getting started. When I started with the company, I was 18 years old. I worked my way up the company ladder, did every position in the company, was a success story of this company. I mean, the owner flew Peggy and I to Paris for a week. This was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. My path was set. I'd been doing this for, you know, when I hit 20 years, you know, this was it. You know, how many more years can I do of this until I retire? And, you know, it was all in front of me. You're a president of a company, you're making a good living. That was my identity. A couple years ago, we started seeing some changes in our company. Some people got let go. The first time in 25 years, I kind of felt a little doubt in what others maybe thought of me. I had always been the rising star of the company, always been the guy, you know, taking the next step. The phone call finally came that I was the next to be let go, and change needed to happen. This was the only company career I had had. Ended up not going to college, and this was my career path. Did great with it, but when the carpet started getting pulled away from my feet, there was a lot of, oh boy, what am I gonna do? I've got a daughter getting married in a few months. I've got a family to support. You know, I hadn't built a resume forever. You know, I had been working at this company for over 28 years. So I spent probably 2 or 3 weeks putting the resume together, having my kids help me that were in college at the time that showed me how to do a resume. And I read a lot of resumes being the president of a company, but actually never had to do one myself. After a couple months, I find a company that really I felt needed me, and really clicked with the owner, and there was an opportunity to be their director of sales, but also kind of help him with the management of the company and be the right-hand man to the owner of the company. The only issue was the company was 5 hours away up in northern Wisconsin, and I wasn't going to move because I had a son in school, have family here. So we worked out an opportunity that I would basically drive up there every other week. Not ideal by any means, a little more travel, but I felt God put this in my life for a reason. Those 5-hour drives, I'm listening to the message on the radio, I'm listening to podcasts that my kids send me. It stinks to be gone, but it is my time with God. When this happened in my life, and I had many things happen in my life that weren't good, and you always rely on Christ and you do that, but this one really hit me because it was my identity of who I thought I was. Even though I was Christian, and even though, you know, I mentored people on coming to Christ, and even though, but this one, you know, hit me where I hadn't been hit before, and it really made me focus that, hey, I'm not Spencer at such and such company. That's not my identity anymore. And no matter where I go, that's not my identity to such and such company. My identity is Spencer, child of Christ. This isn't my story. This is his story. And what's he gonna do with this? what this has done is taken my focus off myself, my situation. How can I glorify Him more? How can I be a good example to my kids more of being Christ-like through this? I really have learned throughout this whole thing, it's not your title at work, it's not the new car you're driving, it's not the neighborhood you live in, it's living for God, and whatever that situation is, it's going to be okay.